This is Jeff in Augusta, Georgia, and you are calling to talk about the show's handling of the topic of faith.
Awesome.
And you're on with
Hello.
David and Tracie.
Hey there, Jeff.
Hey, David, your guest, I want to say hello to him. And it's just great to finally get to speak to you, Tracie. Can I be heard? Am I being heard?
You're talking
yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Excellent. Okay, well, great. Greetings from Augusta, Georgia, but that's only that's my second hometown. I'm really originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Really?
And I definitely want to shout them out.
You got it.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
What's your question?
Anyway.
Did you find a chick tract that has changed your life? And
No, come on.
Feathers? Anything about feathers?
He's going to talk to us about faith.
Okay, faith.
Actually, I did. Anyway,
Oh no!
I won't go down that line. But yeah, I've spoken to Matt in the past, as well as Jen Peoples.
You're the worst, aren't you?
I'm giving 5 minutes to this, so go. Make it quick.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I don't want to draw. Okay. A thing that Matt constantly says on the show is there's no pathway to absolute certainty. Have you ever heard him say that before?
Yeah, I've heard things like that. I think that's not an unfair characterization.
Not at all. I agree with him. I agree with him wholeheartedly. But whenever he says that, whenever he constantly says that, he is establishing for me the absolute necessity for faith for every person on the planet.
How so?
Well,
and let me ask you this. Do we even know that exists, let alone the necessity of it? It's like, yes, it would be great to have
let me try to
all knowledge
I'm going to take a stab
at
recharacterizing what Jeff is saying. Jeff,
okay.
Tell me if I am misunderstanding. But I think what you're getting at is the idea that ultimately, if there's not absolute certainty, that everything equals faith.
Is that what we're... I'm saying this very succinctly, Tracie. When you arrive at what you believe, or let me back up. When you arrive at something that you want to assert as being true,
well, you better have reasons for that.
The last step for everyone, and this is what the thing that really gets me up, or it makes me frustrated when I hear the program. Is it seems to be Matt has often characterized it as if you have Christians on one side that are having faith, and you have all these other people that don't have faith, that are relying on something else that is not faith. But the bottom line is we're all in the same boat. When we arrive at a conclusion that we say, okay, I think that this is true, reasonably true, that last step for everyone, for the believer as well as the unbeliever, is faith.
Let's take a step back from that.
You can't escape it.
Let's take a step back from that. Maybe they say this is true this is provisionally true unless new evidence comes up. Because I don't know anyone that says...
Wait a minute. I would like to I just need to make it one thing clear. Yeah. Usually on the program when we're talking about Christian faith, and because I want to make it super clear that there's a bait and switch that happens, and I'm not accusing you of this, Jeff, I want to make that clear. I'm not accusing you of this. But what I am going to say is there are times on the show where there will be a bait and switch, where everybody's agreeing that what we believe needs to align to the evidence, and then we're talking about the evidence, and then when the evidence starts to not support what the theist believes, they say, well, I just have to have faith. So they are using the word in a unique way that Matt is not normally going to be using it. So Matt would say that my understanding of Matt, and this is me, speaking for him, but I think I do understand his position on this.
WWMD.
We all have beliefs. You're describing. You're basically saying that we are working off of beliefs. Everybody works off of beliefs because there is not certainty. The problem comes in when you have a group of people who then say even beliefs that are not based on evidence, or beliefs that are contradictory even to evidence, are equal beliefs to those which align with evidence. And that's the distinction Matt is drawing. He's trying to actually respond to a Christian definition of faith, which often is plugged in when the evidence is not supportive of the belief.
Right.
Does that make sense? Or, does that help you understand what he's talking about?
Oh, I think I do because I'm not like new to the program, and
Right.
for several years now I've been listening to you guys. And again, I'm so happy to talk to you, Tracie. I really wish, not to waste time, but I wish I could really talk to you in depth. But I'm going to go further and just say this: faith is in a person.
Right.
You talk about evidence. Ultimately, the Christian has faith in the person that they believe exists, that you guys don't believe exists.
Well, here's the thing, though.
My faith is
it's not just Christians, Jeff.
My faith is. Say again, Dave.
Well, it's not just Christians. Anybody who has any beliefs has faith in that belief. The question is, do they have good reasons for this? To have faith in that? Do they have good reasons to back that up? Or what's the difference between blind faith?
There are multiple definitions of the word
Yeah.
faith, and one of them is synonymous with belief. And yes, from a purely how do people use the word sometimes standpoint, faith, belief are interchangeable. But then there is a unique way that faith is used by religious people that is basically them acknowledging, yes, the evidence doesn't really support this, but I have this feeling, and so I have this faith.
And not only that,
Tracie,
that's not unique to Christians.
Hold on, Dave.
But even if there were no religions in the world except Christianity, you'd still have Christians who are full of faith who disagree tooth and nail to the point they will kill each other over which is the one true Christian faith. And how do we know which is the real Christian faith?
It's ridiculous.
All right, you get the final word here. You get the final word, Jeff. Go for it.
Oh wow, Tracie. I was just going to say that definition of faith that I hear repeated over and over again, that faith is believing without evidence, is just ridiculous to me.
No, I don't think it's without evidence. I think it's that, and again, this is not. I'm not talking about how atheists define it. I'm saying that when I have conversations with theists, they actually will say, yes, I agree that beliefs need to align with the evidence, but as the evidence starts to depart from what they believe, they will literally say, that's why I just have to have faith, because you can't, and they'll discount. There are theists who discount the evidence, who will ignore the evidence.
And,
we had one just
honestly,
on who said, I don't accept evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, you when you have to just basically say.
When I called and spoke to Matthew, my evidence for my faith in God was love, and I was laughed off. I was actually hung up on that eventually. But
here's the thing: we believe in love. I have empirical evidence for love.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing:
I'll try to tell that.
All right.
But here's the thing: when you say, "Here is my faith," you're not the only one saying that.
Okay.
And it's like, what's special about that?
I promised Jeff the last word, so go, Jeff. Go.
Jeff.
Give me your best line.
I guess my best line, there's a lot of things I could tell you, Tracie. One thing I want to tell you is spirit, with regard to spirit. I hear you often saying, what is the spirit? You have no idea what that is.
Right.
The spirit is consciousness.
Is it?
That's what it is.
Consciousness is what I call consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like we have a perfectly good word that already suits that.
I'll give you some more insight. And this is insight from the Bible, which is rejected as a pathway to truth by.
No, it's not rejected. It's weighed and found wanting.
I'll let you make your point, but no, you don't get to preach as your final word.
Yeah.
What's your point on faith, real quick?
Okay, I just want
to tell us something that Mormons and Muslims couldn't tell us too, because at the end of the day, if you got 19 different people giving us 19 different faiths that all say different things. How are we supposed to decide which is the good faith and which is the blind faith that leads to destruction?
The point that I'm trying to get to, Tracie, so I can just get off the air right now.
Okay. Let him go.
According to what the Bible says, your spirit is that part of you that knows your thoughts.
Where does it say that in the Bible?
It's in Corinthians. That's just an insight that I'll leave that with you, Tracie, and I'm going to call you again because I really like to talk to you and really engage you guys further on.
This is not probably the show for a deep conversation. That would be Talk Heathen. I would actually recommend that you call the show that airs earlier on Sunday, and there's Eric and Jamie, and they spend more time with callers. That's actually what the show was set up to handle.
But what about you? What about you? I mean,
I don't host that
to
show.
engage you.
I host this show.
But
I feel like this whole conversation
see,
take a very different track.
I am really, I don't usually get into this too much on the program, but I do want to say that, my goal here is not to make personal connections with callers. So please, it's a little bit creepy to be straightforward.
Oh wow, okay.
So
yeah,
okay.
I definitely don't want to. I don't want to come off creepy at all.
All right.
And, I think I offended Jen when I talked to her because I was reaching out to her in the same spirit that's really in me, which is
I'm not here for
love,
making deep friendships or anything like that. This is just about answering calls. Think of me as an operator for the atheist community of Austin, that I'm here to answer questions and give out information, and that's
information
really
gladly given, but safety dictates we must keep conversations to a minimum.
But I do thank you for your call
right.
today.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
David. Thank you, David, and thank you, Tracie.
Okay, thank you.